All right, welcome back to the weekend video. It's been a few weeks. Sorry about that. Um, if you like what I do, you know who I am, enda, bullwaves.org. If you like what I do, get over to bullwaves.org, join the membership, and I'll see you every night for nightly updates. And I won't be so sporadic. At least I do get in there every night, get an updated. Anyway, okay, get over to the website, join, and I'll see you there tonight. Apart from that, let's get to this week's action, and we'll see how see if we can pull it apart and make some sense of it. We're going to start on Eurodollar. Okay, um, some changes happening here. Something's brewing here. It's been a long, hard road to nowhere since we could say January, basically. Topped out in January in wave one, and we've just gone sideways since. I think this is most likely developing in a triangle, and I think this triangle is wave B of a larger wave two. So maybe we've got wave A done, and we're working on wave B. Maybe we're close. Maybe we're close to the end of that, and then we'll head lower again into wave C. It remains to be seen how that plays out, but even the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks probably has been basically sideways to nowhere. So it's quite hard to pin down the actual pattern when very little actually happens. But the best fit at the moment, I think, is a triangle overall for the last 6 months, even 7 months. So we've got a possible top in wave C, and I think we're tracing 3 waves down, probably in wave D now. Again, the action over the last 2 weeks has been. This week I was suggesting maybe a triangle B wave, but right now I'm thinking maybe we've got 3 waves down in A, small 3-wave flat pattern here in wave B, and then maybe we get another spike lower in wave C. Overall, I'd like to see somewhere down around 107.50 to complete wave D, and then 3 waves up into wave E. It should be, if this, there is an argument to be made that wave B itself is coming to a close right now. I'm not going to go there just yet. I would like to see a little bit, a little bit more range in the subwaves here to call that, to start labeling it at 1 degree higher. I don't think there's enough there to actually to warrant closing out the triangle just yet, that larger degree triangle. Anyway, I've spoken enough about that. 3 waves down into wave D, that's the idea. And then again, we'll just go 3 waves up into wave E. So it's going to be another few weeks, probably at least a week, maybe more, of just ranging around 109, basically. Fall a bit below, rise a bit back up again. In general, the pattern should hold below 110 to complete. And that's the wave C high. If that breaks, then we'll have to consider something else. But for the moment, I think this pattern's working. Let's see how it goes. Okay, pound dollar. I think we are moving higher to cap off a final fifth wave here, wave 5 of C. There is a kind of a target area somewhere around 129, maybe 129.50, if we get there. For the moment, the action this week, again, it's not a whole lot to write home about, but overall, I think we're probably capping off this final fifth wave here. We've got the hourly pattern here. You can see that's the final fifth wave in wave 5 in green. We've got wave 3 topped out, 3 waves down, wave 4, and then possible 1-2 pattern complete at yesterday's low, and then we're running higher again today, but you would expect at least a break of 128.47 there at that high. So at least I would suggest, if this is wave 3, at least a push up to about 129.50, 129 to 129.50, somewhere around there. And overall, 5 waves up to a new high to complete wave 5 of C of 2. We're a bit long in the tooth here, really, for this rally, to be honest. But this previous decline did complete as a 3-wave, a pretty clear 3-wave pattern, and that suggests that we do have a new high coming. So overall, in the immediate short term, in the next week or so, then I think we'll probably top out at a new high, and then I'll look for a rollover again. Okay, at a more longer term rollover. Dollar yen. I think after the overnight action, it looks like we have wave 4 finally underway. That's kind of where I've been looking for the last last week or so. There was the chance that we had one final high to top out wave 3 before turning lower, but last night's action is pretty conclusive, I think. We've retraced enough of the previous decline to suggest that wave 4 is now underway. On the very low end, wave 4 should hold above 130, call it 138. Wave 4 should close out well above 138, probably more close to 142, maybe 141, 141 maybe, to close out wave 4. Corrective pattern, 3 waves down, and then we'll head higher into wave 5. Let's go to the hourly count. This is the possible third wave top, 145.07. Into even yesterday, there was a possibility that this was actually a fourth wave, and wave 5 here was going to push us out to a new high before turning lower again. But the overnight action has pretty much ruled that out, and now we've got wave A. We may even have wave A of 4 done at today's low. We will see. We'll see soon enough. As with every correction, we just have to take it day by day. We've got pretty conclusive 3 waves down done at the low so far. So let's see if we get 3 waves up in a wave B somewhere, back up to about 144 again, maybe over the next week or so, and it should be more or less a grinding kind of a bit of a lost kind of grinding pattern, a road to nowhere kind of in wave B, and then we'll head lower impulsively again in wave C. So overall, I'm looking lower over the next couple of weeks as wave 4 traces out, and we'll see how it goes. It's as with any correction, it can go a million and one different ways. And this is you can see the previous third wave high there, and that comes in at about 141. So you would suggest maybe we'd find a low in or around that left shoulder there for wave 4. So be kind of a head and shoulders pattern to complete wave 4, and then head higher into wave 5. Okay, let's move on. As I said last night in last night's update, don't shoot me. But don't shoot me. But there's a possibility that we may have a truncated fifth wave here. It might be a long shot, but I'll tell you one thing: yesterday's decline is more impulsive looking than the previous attempt at topping. So, I'll treat it with kids' gloves at the moment, and we'll see how it progresses over the next few days. But this kind of wedge pattern into the high, it's complete. It's pushing the boundaries of what you might have expected in this second wave, or even in this fifth wave of C of 2. You can pretty much take your pick on which one you want to call this, because it's both. In both cases, it's a truncated fifth wave, but the possibility is there. So I'm going to leave the stage open. Let the market do the talking here and see if we get follow through to the downside. This is the key level here, wave 4, 32.5. Call it 32.560. We'll go to the hourly count here. So we've got this. I actually like the count in the S&P better than this one, but and you'll see that in a short while when we get to it. But for the moment, it's a possible truncated fifth wave. And the possibility was open, even though, even earlier on this week I did speak about it on the nightly update. So the possibility was there for a truncated fifth wave. But yesterday's kind of spike lower did kind of, let's say, at least leave the door open for a reversal pattern to build. We'll see how today goes. I mean, if we get markets open now, if we get a powerful rebound, then I'll have to rule out this idea. But for the moment, this possibility is open, and we'll see if it develops favorably next week. The previous decline, it was always touch and go. It did look more corrective as it came to the end of it, and I'll have to compare that. If you just simply compare it with the decline yesterday, you can see much more impulsive looking move to the downside. So we'll see. If we get follow through to the downside, then the door is wide open again for a possible reversal pattern. In the short term, we've got 33,598. The lower one, 32,5, call it 32,580 here. Lower again, 32,560. Well, call it 32,580 at that previous fourth wave low. And that would be enough. If we broke that, that would be enough to really start sounding a serious alarm for a longer term reversal. For the moment, we're working on the short term, and we'll see how it develops. But I'm raising a little bit of a danger flag here. Well, I'm not. It's not a white flag. I'm not giving up. It's a watch out. There's a possibility here again, given the extended nature of the market, and how far this has gone on. It's gone on for a long time now. Let's go to the daily count. Since this low here back last October, you're talking 9 months. Grinding upside action. Maybe there's more in it. Who knows? But for the moment, this really is worth looking at. It's worth considering here. Forgive me. It's worth considering the possibility that we're going to see a reversal. So, okay, let's move on. Gold. We'll go to the 4-hour count in gold. You can see we've been working on this 3-wave pattern lower in wave A. This week I've been kind of upping the ante on this one, I think. There is a possibility. Well, there's two possibilities here. We could be working at a higher degree. Maybe this is wave A in green. Maybe this is wave B in green. I can't tell the future, but that's just a possibility. For the moment, we're going to go with the idea that we're only working lower in wave A in green. Yes, the overall decline is still operating within wave A green. So that means wave A and B is done. So we're working lower in wave C, and that should be a 5-wave decline. And we'll go to the short-term count, and you can see how that is manifesting itself right now. So we've got 5 waves down in wave 1. We've got a possible 3-wave pattern operating in wave 2. Now, I was calling this wave 2 complete at the early high this week. That's still an option, but for the moment, we had 3 waves down into Thursday's low, and now we've spiked. We've retraced a reasonable amount of that decline. So the possibility is that we have a larger wave C of 2 tracing out here. A larger wave 2 here, completing in the pattern. So we've got a wave A up done that completed at, call it 1935. Wave B came down in 3-wave, slight higher low here, and wave C is now, if I'm correct, wave C is now underway and will break above 1935 again before turning lower next week into wave 3. So you can see we're tracking 5 waves down in a larger degree wave C here. So we've got wave C of A, and the target here is about 1820 for wave C of A. Wave green, wave A green altogether. Forgive me, this is a real tongue twister. So, wave 1 down, wave 2 up completing. We should turn down wave 3 next week. That's what I'll be looking for. Okay, Crude oil, the pattern developed this week. It's, we're still pretty much within the bearish mindset here. I don't think, as we go on, the upside looks more corrective. There is definitely opportunity to accelerate lower on the downside. So it looks like we have wave 2 green done, and we're actually stepping lower into wave 3 green. So once that happens, I think a break of, we'll get a signal that that's underway. If we get a break of 66 again. So that's something to watch out for next week. For the moment, we've got this the wave 2 high here. We've got wave 1 down, a little bit of a leading wedge pattern there. 3 up in A, 3 down in B, and then a possible, maybe it's a combination wave here, maybe it's 3 up in C, or it could be an ending diagonal again. I was looking for a break of 72.68, call it 70, break of 73 maybe, or tag of 73 before completing wave 2, and then it turned down into wave 3 next week. There is, the possibility that we get a truncated wave C here. Maybe. I suppose it's worth leaving that option open. But we're so close to the mark here now. It's only a matter of, $1 rally will do this. We'll complete the second wave, and then we can look for an impulsive reversal down into wave 3. So that's the outlook for next week. Let's complete the second wave and look down into wave 3 then. Okay, so here's the S&P. You can see this week we did actually reach a new high for the pattern, and that is, let's say, the more encouraging aspect of this current wave count. Now, the alternate count for this pattern is that we got 3 waves in an expanded flat correction going on in wave 4, and then we popped to a new high in wave 5. Gotta leave that out. That's on the table. It's still there. But the truncated fifth wave, actually, we did reach a new high, so it's a possibility that we have wave 5 done here in blue. That's the 4-hour count. So let's go to the hourly count, and I'll show you what I mean by why I like this count in the S&P a little bit better than the Dow at the moment. So you can see this week's action, we did actually make it out to a new high above wave 3. So where is the truncated fifth wave? Okay, there's a possibility of a truncation here within this rally to a very slight lower high. We reached we're about 4 points off the ultimate high, let's say the previous third wave high. So if this is wave 4 and wave 5 done, then it's a truncated fifth wave in wave 5 pink here, which is, it's not ideal, but it's more fitting than, let's say, the count in the Dow. So overall, wave 5 in blue has reached a new high above wave 3, but within the let's say, internal action of wave 5, we're dealing with a possible truncation here. So what will seal the deal here? If we want to get rid of this alternate wave 4 idea, then only, a pretty significant decline. Let's say below, if we break 4100 again, let's go out one step. If we break the wave 1 high here at 4170, that'll pretty much be enough to start, turning the focus long term to the downside. Okay, that's the wave 1 high. So that wave 1 high comes in at, let's mark that, wave 1 in blue, 4170. So 4170 marks, let's say, the real target for this reversal pattern. And you might say that's a long way down. Yeah, at this point in time, it's 220 points down, but let's see if we start ticking off previous highs as we go, or sorry, previous lows as we go. So we've got this wave 1 high here at, I would say that's probably more important, 42.14, and a previous fourth wave low at 43.27. So a series of supports there that got a break in order to turn, seriously long-term bearish on this. even though, long term, you know where I stand on this one anyway. But in order to switch into that kind of long term count, that seriously bearish count, we need to start taking out lows. So that's where the focus will be next week. Let's see if this truncated fifth wave is actually correct, and we take out the initial target of 43.27. We shall see soon enough. Okay, let's go to 4-hour count in silver. You can see I'm counting a C wave decline here. So this would be wave 1 and 2 in wave C. And we go to the hourly count here. You can see that wave 1 and 2 is done. We got an impulsive spike lower yesterday and a possible 3-wave rally to a lower high this morning. So maybe a 1 and 2 pattern done to begin wave 3 down. So if that's correct, if wave 3 blue is underway here, this wave 3 in blue, then we should make it down to about $21 again. At the very least $21.50. But I would expect $21 to complete wave 3. And we've got to get 5 waves down there, so it's a pretty clear road ahead in terms of the pattern. But let's see if the actual market will deliver that. Initially, the break of $22 again will confirm this pattern. So let's see how it goes. Let's move on. Yeah, Bitcoin. That 1-2 pattern was ruled out a while back. Okay, so we've got that fourth wave possibility still extended to the upside, but the fourth wave is still my favorite count here. So we've got wave 3 low done last October. We've rallied just along with the stock market. We're coming up to that serious resistance there in wave 1, so that's 32.9. Call it 32.900. We start failing below that, then it's a pretty solid lookout below. We've had 9 months of upside here in wave 4. So we've got wave 4 there. If this is wave C of 4, then there's a question to be answered here pretty quickly next week, most likely, on, again, just in line with all other risk assets. You've got Bitcoin moving in line with the stock market here. Stock market quite definitely a more favored market than Bitcoin, that's for sure. But both markets are moving in line, step by step here. They've had a 9-month rally. It's about time that 9-month rally got at least a call, or at least a test of its strength, and we just haven't had that yet. So let's see. Is wave C done? Complete wave 4? Well, if the stock market count in the stock market is correct, then yes, wave C and 4 is done. Okay, let's move on. The FTSE is moving lower in line with the longer term wave count here. We were looking for a third wave decline. It looks like we're stepping lower in a third wave now, and we're close to breaking that previous March low at 7,200. So the action this week has been pretty impulsive to the downside. Let's see, do we follow through? 5 waves down to wave 3. Looking for back down towards 6,700 again in this wave 3. You can see we've got the wave 1 and 2 pattern done, and we've got wave 1 and 2. This is probably third wave down, expecting about 7,100 for this third of a third at least. And we're getting there. 7,250 today. This 7,100 is where wave 3 in pink reaches 162% wave 1 in pink. So that's the initial target. Done well this week. Let's see how it goes. The DAX is following suit this week also. So we've got, so far off the top, 3 waves down, but a possible bearish reversal in the making right now. We've broken the previous fourth wave low. So let's see, there's still more, there's more here. There's more downside to come in order to prove this count. But for the moment, I'm liking what's happening there. The NASDAQ has held up this week. A very slight, let's say, lower high, possibility of a lower high building right now. You can see the, let's say, the speculative part of me is suggesting that wave 5 of C of 2 is done. We're failing below the 78.6 retracement now, and we've got trend channel filled. We've got a throw over at the top of the trend channel. Now we've got a failure below that top line of the trend channel. Let's see if we fail below it again and we start taking out previous fourth wave. So that's 14, let's say 14,700, and then below that again, we've got a correction at 14,200. So 14,700 and 14,200. That's where we're looking at, and that's what is required here. The internal pattern of wave 5 in blue, if this is wave 5 in blue done, is it's satisfactory. I think we've got wave 1, 2, acceleration wave 3, small correction wave 4, and then a pop to a very slight double top in wave 5. So we don't even have to deal with the truncated fifth wave top here. It's a clean double top. So it's out of the woods on that sense. If we break, or let's say we call it 14,690 again, then I would look below towards 1422 or 14,220, and that's the previous fourth wave at 1 degree lower. Okay, and that, my dear friends, is that. And as usual, once I go through the markets, this is where everybody leaves. Don't leave. I have something good news to tell you. We all know that we are shuttling through this mortal coil, and we're going to drop off the end of it. No matter how good you think that your life is going to be, or how good you're planning it to be, or how good it has been, you're still faced with that existential threat that is, you drop over to the other side. Your physical presence on this dimension ends, and the spiritual dimension takes over. We are, when we're born, people tend to say, oh, you babies, you're born a child of God. You're not. We're actually born in enmity to God because of our father Adam. He failed. He passed on the sin gene to everybody else. We are failure. The fact that we die is proof that we're failure. We are at enmity with God. But what can you do to turn that around? We can't on our own strength, no matter how hard we try. We can't. There's nothing that we can do to turn that around. That's like the unenviable position that we're in. But God made a way by breaking into time, space, and matter himself in the form of Yeshua, Jesus Christ. He died, lived a sinless life, died free from sin, took your sin to the grave and paid for it, and rose again on the third day, showing that he defeated death because he's God. So believe on him and you will be saved. That's what St. Paul said to the jailer. He said, what must I do to be saved? And St. Paul said, believe on the Lord Jesus and you will be saved. So if you're the head of a household, if you are the man of the house like me, you are the one that carries the spiritual covering, or the one that relinquishes spiritual covering. If you have Messiah as your God and Savior, as your great God and Savior, if you have the Messiah covering you, your spiritual covering over your family is intact. If you don't, you're walking under Adam, and Adam died. They say that God told, God, the story of Adam couldn't be true because God said, the day you eat of that tree, you will die, surely die. And well, in terms of our days, Adam lived till 980 something, whatever it was. So he didn't die that day. But let's remember, A day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is like a day to the Lord. So Adam did die that day, on the first day of creation, that 1,000 years. But there is 1,000 years coming that will make up for the failure that we've had with the true king seated on the true throne in Jerusalem. And that day is coming, and that's the day that I look forward to. Okay, that's enough said. If you've lasted till right now, Lord's blessings on you, and consider what I've said. Walk out from under the headship of Adam, the headship of death, the headship of the ruler of this world, and walk under